Hello everyone, Dr. Alan Mandell here. If you're over 50, over 60, or even over 70, there is something you must understand about your body right now. Muscle loss is not optional with aging unless you fight back. And the number one reason people lose strength, balance, and independence as they age is not getting enough usable protein. Most people think eggs are the gold standard. Eggs are good. I like eggs. But today I want to talk about a food that contains up to 20 times more protein than eggs, and almost no one is talking about it. And no, it's not protein powder. It's just not expensive. And it's just not hard to digest. Why protein matters more after 60. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at absorbing protein. This condition is called anabolic resistance. What does that mean? In simple terms, it means you can eat the same amount of protein you ate at 40 and still lose muscle at 60. That's why so many older adults feel weak, tired, unsteady, slow to recover. Without muscle, you lose balance, bone strength, metabolism, and independence. So the solution is not eating more junk protein. The solution is eating smarter protein. As we age, something very important happens inside the body that most people are never told about. It's quiet, it's gradual, and because it happens slowly, people assume it's normal aging, but normal does not mean inevitable. I'm talking about the body's declining ability to absorb and use protein. When you're younger, your body is very efficient. You eat protein, your muscles respond quickly, and your body knows exactly what to do with those amino acids. Muscle repairs itself. Strength is maintained, balance stays sharp. But after the age of 50, and especially after 60, that system begins to change. This process is known as anabolic resistance. In simple terms, it means your muscles stop responding to protein the way they used to. You can eat the same chicken, the same eggs, the same meals you ate years ago and still lose muscle. This is why so many older adults say, I sip I'm eating fine, but I sip I'm getting weaker. I just don't understand why my strength is disappearing. I haven't changed anything. That's the problem. The body has changed even if the habits haven't. Muscle is not just about looking strong. Muscle is a metabolic organ. It controls blood sugar, protects your joints, supports your bones, and most importantly, it keeps you independent. Without muscle, the risk of falls increases, healing slows down, fatigue becomes constant, and everyday tasks, standing up, climbing stairs, carrying groceries, start to feel exhausting. Now here's just the critical part. After 60, your body requires more protein than before, but not just more protein, better absorbed protein, and this is where most people go wrong. They think, I shall just eat more meat, or I shall add another egg, or worse, I shall drink a protein shake, but more protein does not automatically mean better results. In fact, heavy animal proteins can be harder to digest as stomach acid naturally declines with age. This leads to bloating, discomfort, poor absorption, and in many cases, wasted protein that never reaches the muscles. So the issue is not effort. The issue is efficiency. Your muscles need a strong signal to grow and maintain themselves. That signal comes from certain amino acids, especially leucine. But if the protein is not absorbed well, that signal never reaches the muscle. This is why seniors often experience muscle loss even when they believe they're doing everything right. And muscle loss doesn't announce itself loudly. It shows up as slower walking, poor balance, weaker grip strength, trouble getting up from a chair, fatigue that doesn't improve with rest. By the time people notice it, years have already passed. Now let me be very clear about this. Once muscle is lost, it is much harder to regain than it is to maintain. That's why this conversation is so important. Protein after 60 is not optional. It is not a luxury. It is a medical necessity for healthy aging. But the protein must be easy to digest. High in essential amino acids, efficiently absorbed, consumed consistently. This is also why many older adults feel discouraged. They try harder, but the results don't match the effort, and over time they give up. They stop moving as much. They stop exercising. They accept weakness as part of aging, but weakness is not aging. Weakness is undernutrition at the cellular level. Your muscles are starving, not because you're not eating, but because your body is not receiving the right signals. Think of muscle like a savings account. When you're young, deposits go in easily. As you age, the bank becomes stricter. You need clearer signals, better quality deposits, and consistency. Skipping days, eating poorly absorbed protein, relying on convenience foods. These all accelerate muscle loss. And once muscle declines, everything else follows. Bone density decreases, insulin resistance increases, inflammation rises, energy drops. This is why muscle health is the foundation of longevity. The good news is this: your body is still capable of responding, even in your 70s, even in your 80s. But it needs the right information. It needs protein. It needs nutrients that don't overwhelm digestion. And it needs consistency, not perfection. Small daily choices compound over time. You don't sit need extreme diets. You don't sit need heavy supplements. You don't sit need to eat like a bodybuilder. You need to work with your aging physiology, not against it. Once you understand that protein absorption changes with age, everything else begins to make sense. Your fatigue makes sense. Your weakness makes sense. And most importantly, the solution becomes clear. Most people believe protein is protein. They think if something has a number on a label, the body will automatically use it, but that is not how the human body works, especially as we get older. What matters is not just how much protein a food contains, but how usable that protein is. And this is where this particular food stands apart. Eggs have long been considered a high-quality protein, and they are. They contain essential amino acids and are easy to prepare. But eggs are still a relatively low protein food by volume, and more importantly, they do not always provide enough of a muscle building signal for older adults unless consumed in larger quantities. Now compare that to nutritional yeast. This is not baking yeast. It does not grow in your stomach. And it is not a supplement pill. It is a whole food grown on a natural medium, then dried and deactivated, making it safe, gentle, and highly concentrated. Just a small serving, 1 to 2 tablespoons, can provide a dense dose of complete protein containing all 9 essential amino acids your body cannot make on its own. Ounce for ounce, this can deliver far more usable protein than eggs without the heaviness or digestive strain. That sits a critical point. As we age, digestion becomes weaker, stomach acid declines, enzymes decrease. This makes it harder to break down dense animal proteins like meat and even eggs. When protein is not fully broken down, amino acids are not absorbed efficiently, and the muscles never receive the message to grow or maintain themselves. Nutritional yeast bypasses much of that problem. Its protein structure is already highly accessible. The body doesn't have to work as hard to extract the amino acids. That means more protein actually reaches your muscles instead of passing through unused. This is what we mean by usable protein. It's not about eating more. It's about absorbing more. And there's something else very important here. Muscle protein synthesis. The process that preserves and builds muscle requires a strong amino acid signal. Older muscles are less sensitive. They need a clearer message. Nutritional yeast provides that message efficiently without overwhelming the system. This is one reason many seniors notice improvements in strength, energy, and stamina after adding this food consistently, even without changing anything else. And let's talk about the quality of that protein. Nutritional yeast contains a high concentration of branched-chain amino acids, including leucine, which is essential for muscle maintenance. Without enough leucine, muscle simply does not respond, no matter how much protein you eat. This is why some people eat plenty of food yet continue to lose muscle. The signal is too weak. Eggs provide leucine, yes, but in smaller amounts per serving. To match the amino acid density of nutritional yeast, you would need multiple eggs, which may not be ideal for digestion, cholesterol sensitivity, or appetite in older adults. With nutritional yeast, you get a concentrated, efficient delivery in a small volume. That matters because appetite often decreases with age. Large meals become uncomfortable. Seniors skip meals or eat less without realizing it. A food that delivers more nutrition in a smaller amount becomes extremely valuable. The protein is only part of the story. This food also provides critical cofactors that help your body use protein properly. Blue vitamins, especially B12, are essential for nerve signaling, energy production, and muscle coordination. Without adequate B vitamins, muscles fatigue quickly, even if protein intake is adequate. Many older adults are deficient in B12, often without knowing it. This leads to weakness, numbness, poor balance, and low energy. Nutritional yeast naturally supports this pathway, making the protein it provides even more effective. This is synergy, protein plus the nutrients that activate it. Another advantage is inflammation, or rather the lack of it. Highly processed protein powders can irritate the gut. Heavy meats can increase inflammatory load. Inflammation interferes with muscle repair. Nutritional yeast is gentle, anti-inflammatory, and well tolerated by most people, even those with sensitive digestion. And because it does not spike blood sugar or insulin, it supports stable energy levels throughout the day. Stable energy means better movement, better exercise tolerance, and better muscle preservation. What surprises many people is how simple this is. No cooking, no chewing difficulty, no preparation time. Just sprinkle it on foods you already eat. And consistency is what changes everything. The body responds not to occasional effort, but to daily signals. When muscles receive a steady supply of high-quality usable protein, they stop breaking down. Strength stabilizes. Recovery improves. Confidence returns. This is why this food is so powerful for older adults. Not because it's such trendy, not because it's so expensive, but because it works with the aging body instead of against it. And that is the key difference. Aging changes physiology. The solution must respect that change. When protein is easy to absorb, complete in its amino acid profile, and supported by the right nutrients, the body responds no matter the age. This is not about doing more. It's about doing smarter. When people think about protein, they usually think only about muscles, bigger muscles, stronger muscles, but protein, when it comes from the right source, does far more than that, especially as we age. What most people don't realize is that muscle, energy, and nerve health are deeply connected. You cannot separate them, and if one begins to decline, the others soon follow. This is why so many older adults say, I feel weak and tired all the time. My balance isn't sit what it used to be. My legs don't respond the way they should. That is not just aging. That is the nervous system and muscles no longer communicating efficiently. And this is where this food becomes so important. The protein in nutritional yeast does not just feed muscle tissue, it supports the entire system that allows muscles to function, contract, and recover. Let's just start with energy. Every movement you make, standing, walking, lifting, even breathing, requires energy at the cellular level. That energy is produced inside the mitochondria, the power plants of your cells. As we age, mitochondrial efficiency declines, cells produce less energy, and fatigue becomes constant. Protein alone is not enough to solve this. The body needs B vitamins to convert protein into usable energy. Without them, protein just sits there unused. Nutritional yeast is naturally rich in B vitamins, including B1, B2, B3, B6, and especially B12. These vitamins are essential for energy metabolism. They help turn food into fuel. They support endurance, and they reduce that deep, lingering fatigue so many older adults feel. This is why people often report feeling more energetic, not stimulated, not jittery, but genuinely stronger after adding this food consistently. Now let's just talk about nerves. Your muscles only move when your nerves tell them to. Strength is not just about muscle size, it's about nerve signaling. As we age, nerve conduction slows, signals become weaker, coordination declines, balance becomes unstable. This is one of the main reasons falls increase with age. Vitamin B12 plays a critical role here. It protects the myelin sheath, the insulation around nerves that allows signals to travel quickly and accurately. Without enough B12, nerves misfire. Muscles respond slowly. Reflexes weaken. Many older adults are deficient in B12 without knowing it. Symptoms can include numbness, tingling, poor balance, weakness, memory issues, and chronic fatigue. By supporting nerve health, this food helps muscles respond better, movements become smoother, coordination improves, confidence in walking and standing returns. And that confidence is powerful. When people feel steady, they move more. When they move more, muscles stay active. When muscles stay active, aging slows down. Now let's return to muscle preservation. Age-related muscle loss, known as sarcopenia, is one of the strongest predictors of disability in older adults. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly, quietly, year after year. Protein slows this process, but again, not just any protein. The protein in nutritional yeast contains essential amino acids that support muscle repair and maintenance. When combined with adequate B vitamins and minerals, the muscle receives a complete signal to stay strong. But there's another factor we must talk about: inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation is common with aging. It interferes with muscle repair, it increases pain, it worsens fatigue, and it disrupts nerve signaling. This food is naturally low in inflammatory compounds and is generally well tolerated by the gut. A calm gut supports better nutrient absorption. Better absorption means better muscle and nerve support. Everything is connected. Energy, nerves, muscles, digestion, they do not work in isolation. And here, sugar is something very important. When muscles weaken, the brain becomes less confident in movement. The brain senses instability and responds by limiting motion. This creates a cycle of fear, stiffness, and further weakness. But when muscles are nourished, nerves fire properly, and energy improves, the brain relaxes, movement feels safer, the body moves more naturally. This is how independence is preserved, not through extreme exercise, not through heavy supplementation, but through supporting the body's systems in harmony. Another overlooked benefit is recovery. Older adults take longer to recover from physical activity, illness or injury. Protein and B vitamins accelerate tissue repair. Faster recovery means less time being sedentary. Less time sedentary means less muscle loss. That is critical. Because inactivity, even for short periods, accelerates aging more than almost anything else. Now let's just talk about daily life. When energy improves, people are more likely to prepare meals, go for walks, socialize, and stay mentally engaged. When nerve health improves, they feel safer doing these things. When muscles are supported, they can do them without pain or exhaustion. This is why the benefits of this food go far beyond nutrition labels. This supports quality of life. And the beauty of it is simplicity. No complex routines, no expensive programs, no strain on the body, just a small daily habit that sends the right signals. Your body is incredibly intelligent. It wants to stay strong, it wants to move, it wants to heal, but it needs the right building blocks and the right support. When you nourish muscles, energy systems, and nerves together, aging becomes less of a struggle and more of a process you can manage with confidence. Strength returns, not all at once, but steadily. Energy becomes reliable. Movement feels safer. Most people believe that improving their health requires big changes, drastic diets, intense exercise programs, expensive supplements, and when those things feel overwhelming, nothing changes at all. But the truth is, the body does not respond best to extremes. The body responds best to consistency. And this becomes even more important as we age. Small daily habits, when done consistently, send powerful signals to the body, and over time, those signals shape strength, balance, energy, and independence. This is where so many older adults go wrong. They try something for a week, they skip days, they forget, they stop because they don't feel an immediate result. But muscle, nerves, and energy systems do not respond overnight. They respond to repetition. Think of your body like a conversation. Every day you are sending messages. The food you eat, the way you move, the way you rest, All of it communicates with your cells. When the message is clear and repeated, the body listens. When the message is inconsistent, the body ignores it. This is why simple daily use matters more than anything else. 1 to 2 tablespoons of this food per day is not a magic dose. It is a signal, a daily reminder to your muscles that they are needed. A daily reminder to your nervous system that support is coming. A daily reminder to your energy systems that fuel is available. And the body responds accordingly. Consistency reduces muscle breakdown. Consistency improves recovery. Consistency stabilizes strength. Not perfection, consistency. This is especially important for older adults because recovery takes longer. Missed days add up quickly. Long gaps allow muscle loss to accelerate, but steady daily intake keeps the body in a maintenance and repair mode. And here's something very important. More is not better. The aging body does not need massive doses. It needs regular, manageable input. Overloading the system can create digestive stress, inflammation, and fatigue. Gentle, consistent nourishment keeps the system calm and responsive. That's why this food works so well. It's easy to use. It doesn't require cooking. It blends into food you already eat. You don't have to change your entire lifestyle. You simply add one small habit to what you're already doing. Sprinkle it on breakfast. Add it to lunch. Include it in dinner. No stress, no pressure. And because it's easy, people stick with it. And because they stick with it, results appear. This is how long-term health is built, not through bursts of motivation, but through habits that fit into real life. Now let's talk about independence. Independence is not lost all at once. It's lost gradually. A little less strength here, a little less balance there, a little more fatigue each year. But independence is also preserved gradually. Each day you support your muscles, you make standing up easier. Each day you support your nerves, you make walking safer. Each day you support your energy, you make movement more appealing. Over months, this adds up. People begin to notice that stairs feel easier. Getting out of a chair feels smoother. Carrying groceries feels manageable again. These are not dramatic changes, but they are life-changing. And perhaps most importantly, consistency builds confidence. When people feel stronger, they move more. When they move more, they stay engaged. When they stay engaged, mental and physical decline slows dramatically. Confidence reduces fear. Fear limits movement. Movement preserves life. This is why small daily habits matter so much. There is also something psychologically powerful about consistency. When you show up for yourself every day, even in a small way, you reinforce the belief that your health matters. That belief influences every other choice you make. You begin to eat better. You begin to move more. You begin to take care of yourself. And it all starts with one simple, repeatable action. Now let's just talk about time. Most people overestimate what they can do in a week and underestimate what they can do in a year. Muscle preservation is not about quick results. It's about slowing loss, then stabilizing, then gradually improving. This takes time, but time works in your favor when habits are consistent. A year from now, the difference between someone who did something small every day and someone who did nothing is enormous. Strength compounds, stability compounds, energy compounds. And the best part is this, the body never stops responding, even in your 70s, even in your 80s, even later. As long as the signal is present, the body adapts. That is why daily use matters more than intensity. You don't need to do everything right. You just need to do one thing right consistently. And when that one thing supports muscle, nerve, and energy health together, the results extend far beyond strength. They extend into freedom. They extend into confidence. They extend into quality of life. Aging does not take away your ability to improve. It simply changes the rules. And once you understand those rules, you can work with your body instead of against it.